Welcome to the BCMA Podcast Show, brought to you by Southern Sound Outfitters. Welcome to the Bayou Country Music Association show. We have a very special episode today. We've recently partnered up with Pro Country, which is a website that interviews some great up-and-coming artists, and we have the pleasure of speaking with the main guy behind it, and that's Justin, and he's with us today. How's it going, man?
I'm great, man. How's it going?
Oh, we're doing well. So, Justin, just for the listeners to know, where are you from?
I'm in Burlington, New Jersey. Lived here all my life.
Wow, okay, awesome. And growing up around there, who was some of the artists that you listened to growing up that kind of made you love country music?
You know, man, I've always had more than just a casual interest in music for as long as I can remember, even before I really even realized it. I've gotten myself involved with a classic rock record label when I was 16, and I love bands like Def Leppard and Poison and the Eagles and James Taylor and stuff like that. But at the same time, my cousin introduced me to country music, and I've just been really digging in, and I've discovered artists that I really love, like Mark Chestnut and Ricky Van Shelton and Dwight Yoakam and guys like that are really sticking to the true sound, what I feel is the true sound of country music. And I'm always on the lookout. I give everyone a chance. And, yeah, I'm always keeping my eyes and ears open for new artists.
So you've had, it sounds like a pretty, good background in music. You said mentioning about the rock bands and stuff. How long have you been into music, and whether it be management or whatnot?
Man, I started with the record label when I was 16, and these are all bands that were active in the 80s and 90s, so they were all pretty much defunct by the time I was even born. And I reached out to these bands, and we do releases with the record label. So that's been a while, but I got really, really into country probably about 5 years ago, and it kind of started out in the mainstream, like There Goes My Life by Kenny Chesney was one of my favorite songs, and I've kind of just dug deeper and deeper, and I've been discovering new artists all the time, and it's just really gone from there. That's
awesome, man. So tell us how the idea of the whole pro country thing came about.
Man, it's funny. During my senior year at college, I went to Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. We were assigned a project that we were going to run for the entire semester on a topic of our choosing, and I just asked the professor on a limb if I could cover kind of the traditional country music community at that time. This was in like late 2017, and she said yes. And something she said at the beginning of the class always stuck with me. And the PG version of what she said is just effing do it. And when the semester ended, I really didn't have any plans to keep it going. But I had two things on my computer that I had written previously. One was a profile story on a 90s country star named David Kersh, and another was a little write-up on the song I Love Their First by Heartland. I interviewed both the songwriters and a band member, and I figured if I like reading these, there might be one other person anywhere that might be interested in reading it, so I put it up online. And it really took off. Like the David Kersh thing, a couple thousand people saw that in like 3 days. And the Heartland thing, it took off as well. So I said, people seem to be digging what I'm doing, so why not just effing do it, as the professor said.
Just effing do it. She didn't work for Nike, did she?
She did not.
Well, man, it's really paid dividends. I mean, to the listeners that don't know, how would you best describe the Pro Country website and blog as a whole?
Yeah, man, my thing, it's really a lot similar to what you guys do. It's a lot of the time I'm highlighting up-and-coming independent artists, and from time to time I'll do a feature type of story with former major label artists. I've been fortunate enough to work with some guys who've had a pretty great amount of success, like Michael Peterson and Wesley Dennis and George Dukas. And I also worked with Craig Campbell a while ago, and just as cool as a lot of up and coming artists who I'm still discovering, and I'm still very excited to discover. And that's just been one of the most rewarding parts for me, is finding new artists all the time who are so willing to be a part of this whole thing.
Well, yeah, that's awesome, man. And you did a write up on myself in Bayou Country, and I really appreciate that. And we're kind of mirroring a few questions here and there that you kind of asked me, because it's the same perspective. And I mean, you've interviewed many artists and songwriters. Which one would you say was your personal favorite, just to interview or talk to?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of funny because you almost put some of these artists up on a pedestal, they'd never talk to me. They'd never talk to me. These people, some of these people, like Michael Peterson, have had a couple number ones and they've sold over 1 million albums. And you're like, they'd never talk to me. But me and Michael talked for over an hour, and it was great. He ended up telling me that it was his favorite print interview of his career. So that one was awesome. And there's another one I did really recently with an artist, Leslie Tom, and she was really great, and she even basically interviewed me at the end. She wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to get interviewed and then we'll hang up the phone. She really took the time to get to know me, which was fun. And another one was Jamie Floyd. She was on that new TV show Real Country, and her story, if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to check it out either on Pro Country, or I think the Tennessean did a write up on her. But it was really awesome to have these artists open up the way they have, but all of them are special in their own way, for sure.
That's funny you mentioned the TV show, the Real Country show. So many great artists come out of that, but we have one that's from Opelousas, Louisiana, Kylie Frey, that was on the show, and she's a local girl, and I've been trying to get a hold of her people, but she's had major success with her song after that show. And like you mentioned, I have to say for myself, doing these interviews and getting in contact with these artists and these individuals, to me the most rewarding is definitely the relationships that you build with these people, and being able to, like you said, that we put them on a pedestal as a fan or as a listener, and these are just people. And sometimes, I've had many times where I've interviewed artists that I wasn't even really big, huge fans of, and they just turned out to be great people, and it made me even, so that's awesome to hear, man.
Absolutely, man. I love getting to know the artists on a deeper level. I love getting the details about the music, but really getting to know them as people has been really rewarding as well.
Now, your website has many followers and viewers from all over the country. I mean, how have you managed to expand your viewers to such a vast area?
Man, it's really just the music. I think music speaks to people so much, and it's been all me, all that runs the thing. I reach out to all the artists, and I do all the interviews and write it up and everything. And we just share it. I share it, and the artist shares it most of the time, and then it just reaches far and wide. And I make it a point to say that I'm not in this for any recognition or anything, or namesake or anything, but it's definitely cool when you see people in other countries, on other continents, reading and enjoying the music and something that you had a small part in creating. It's definitely really awesome.
Yes, sir. I can 100% relate to that. It's definitely awesome to have the platform be a success for the music and the artists as well. I mean, you've had obviously success with this website and the interviews you do. Is there any plans of expanding your platform to a podcast or other form of media, or are you just pretty much sticking to what you got?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're not trying to grow, then that's not a good plan for the future. So I definitely like to expand into a podcast, and I'm always keeping my eyes and ears open for things that could help potentially expand what I'm doing. Like when you reached out, it was definitely cool, and that really excited me. So I appreciate you taking the time and doing all that. But yeah, I'm always looking to build it any way I can. Well,
that's awesome, man. I mean, coming from me, when I started this, I had no intentions of being a interviewer on a podcast by any means, and I cringe still at some of the first interviews, but it kind of grew on me, and it's helped me to help the cause, and definitely has helped out. So it definitely has a good impact, when you're growing, and I'm happy to have reached out to you, man, because I've seen what you're doing for the artists and for the industry, which is pretty much the same mission as what I'm doing here and what Bayou Country Music is all about. And so sharing that same similar goal, it made no sense to not reach out and try to help each other to help the ultimate goal, and that's definitely something I'm happy about, man. So
absolutely,
I mean,
yeah, it's really refreshing to meet people who have the same kind of goal as you do, who are in it for the music and they're not in it for the recognition, and they're really in it for the artist, and that's really refreshing to me in doing this myself.
I mean, I would have to say personally, my favorite experience with the whole experience of Bayou Country Music has been just relationships made. What would you say is your favorite experience from starting pro country that you've obtained while doing it?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that Michael Peterson thing I was talking about earlier, and how I said he's had so much success and he's had #1 songs and everything like that. But he told me that the story I wrote on him was his favorite interview he's ever done, and he's been active since 1985, and he was on a major label. He had so much success, and he's been interviewed by hundreds of people. So to get that kind of validation, I can't even really put into words what that really even means, and it's weird to even talk about it now, to hear myself say that. It's definitely just really cool.
Well, for the listeners that have not heard of pro country or Justin's cause and what he's doing, I mean, he's had some interviews with a lot of names that you've seen with us, and that's one with Coy Rose he did just recently. I know you've done pretty much a spotlight on almost every artist on the Red Barn Music roster,
yeah.
And so a lot of similar names. How did you, and Trent Cowie Band and so on and so forth, how did you get that connection with these guys, and what are your thoughts on some of this, the wave of artists coming out of the area with Red Barn and with a lot of other, I wouldn't say labels, but, up and coming in this area?
Yeah, man. I did an interview last year, and I think it was with an artist named Kristen Foreman, and Seth Storer at Red Barn saw it, and he just sent me a link to Red Barn's site, and he sent me After Dupre's song "When She Drinks My Whiskey," which was and is really big, and Casey Pivoto Band's song "Maybe," and he asked me if I'd be interested in spotlighting a lot of the bands. I think I did those two, Caden Gillard, Nate Rogers, Cody Forrest, and Trent Cowie, and a bunch more of their artists. And yes, Seth has been really cool. If you see that the logo that I have on the Pro Country site and the Facebook cover page, Seth at Red Barn actually sent that over to me totally randomly. He sent that over to me, which was cool, because my old logo was just like something I threw together with my one semester of high school Photoshop experience. So that relationship with Red Barn has been really awesome.
Yeah, Seth Storer is a great guy, and he's the brains behind and the man behind the scenes with Red Barn Music. He doesn't like to take a lot of credit, but he's formed a heck of a organization in just the past year, with getting all these great artists to come together, and really all of them. I mean, you mentioned Casey and Ashton and Caden, and these guys are they have that traditional country sound that is lost in mainstream these days, and it's something great to hear, and it's great to have, obviously around our area, these guys are known, but to your readers and your, following that is all over, to, see these guys and have them put out there, that's awesome, and that's what really drew me into trying to reach out and and you know, not only try to help each other, but definitely say, man, I appreciate what you're doing for the cause.
For sure, man. I appreciate that. And all those Red Barn guys, the artists are great, but I've done all the interviews with them, and I've talked to them even after the interviews. But not only are they great artists, they're great people. So it's great.
Yeah, they really are, man. And we do a lot of stuff with Texas country music, and you know, we're part of the Texas Country Music Association. And a lot of times I like to talk about the atmosphere of the Texas country music scene and how all those great artists is like a family. And I'd have to say that, you know, Seth has kind of mirrored that with Red Barn, and all these artists. Not only are they good musicians, but they're great people, and they come together as a family and really support each other as artists. And that's something that really was kind of lost in this area, as far as, you know, musicians helping each other as a family. And that's something that Red Barn Music has been able to accomplish over this past year, and that's awesome. And definitely a great topic, you know, for people interested to go check out the interviews that you did. And they can also check out in the archives of our podcast. We've had several of them on. So it's awesome to see, man.
Absolutely, yeah. They're great.
Now, going forward, you know, with our new partnership with Pro Country and BCMA, what would you personally like to see happen out of our teaming up? What is your goal for it?
For sure, yeah, man. When you initially reached out, I told you that if we can get one set of eyes and ears to an artist with the partnership that wouldn't have otherwise seen it, then I think we've done our justice to the listeners and to the artists, because that's what we do. We've both told each other that we're not in this for our recognition. We're in this to get more eyes and ears to the artists. So if one more person discovers an artist, then I think we've done our jobs, and that's awesome.
Well, man, I have to agree with you 1,000%, because we're pretty much on the same page when it comes to what we really want to do, man. So that's awesome. I'm so excited to team up with you, man, and have great things happening, and just have it pay off for these artists that deserve every bit of recognition that they can get.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about, man.
So you have a great platform, strong following. How can artists and management teams get in touch with you to be on Pro Country in the interviews and such?
Yeah, man. If they're following along with the Facebook page, they could shoot me a message through there. They could shoot me a message through the contact form on the website or my personal page. They're all listed on the top of the Pro Country website. And yeah, I'm always looking for new artists. That excites me, finding new artists. I'm looking all the time. So if anybody is interested in what I've done or has taken any interest into any of the interviews I've done, I definitely encourage them to reach out, because I'd definitely be happy to help the artist out in any way that I can.
Yeah, so if y'all go to the website, Pro Country's website, as he mentioned, there's links to the his Facebook page and Instagram and whatnot. And I'll tell you guys, he's not playing around, because I reached out to him through the website, and it wasn't even maybe an hour or so, and he responded to me, and didn't know who I was, and I got in touch with him. So that definitely, if you're looking to be on the program, reach out, hit that contact button, or get on Facebook or Instagram and send him a message.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that a lot.
Well, man, I really appreciate you doing a write-up on myself and Bayou Country, and being on the show with us, and look forward to our team, partnering up in this team to get the artists and the music out there, and that's the goal. And I'm excited, and I can't even put into words the amount of gratitude I have to you and your platform to teaming up with me and mine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, I appreciate what you guys are doing so much, and I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm excited to see what this partnership brings in the future.
Yes, sir. And I always have to thank my other friends and partners in the scene that have helped me create this, and that first and foremost, Aaron with Southern Sound Outfitters, a great organization. It is an apparel company, but he supports so many up-and-coming artists. It's insane. You don't see apparel companies pushing these guys like this. So go show him some love and go to southernsoundoutfitters.com and get some merchandise from those guys. Also, want to thank our friends from Damn It Boy Products, Beck Sunglasses, of course Swamp Assassin, and also all the music, people in the industry such as Pro Country and Gravel Road Management, Red Barn Music, Blue Lark Entertainment, all these organizations that you can see on our website at bayoucountrymusic.com on that partners and friends tab. All these great organizations, go check them out and check out their products and services, and support your independent artists. That's the bottom line of what I say every time. Y'all hear me say it all the time, but support independent artists. If you like an artist, buy tickets to their show, buy some merchandise. It costs money to put out music for us to hear, so support those guys. Definitely show some love and support to Justin and Pro Country, and check out all of his great interviews. I spent like 2 hours last night reading every interview on the website, and it was not one of them was dull, I promise you. So check that out with procountry.wordpress.com, and definitely, man, look forward to this teaming up, and any way we can help each other, we definitely will, man.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you taking the time. That means a lot.
Well, man, before I wrap it up, is there anything that you would like to state extra, maybe that we didn't cover for Pro Country or for your goals?
Yeah, just kind of to reiterate what I said a little bit before, that I'm not in this for any sort of recognition. It's all about the artists, and like you said, the independent artists. And if you like an artist, check them out, buy their music, buy tickets to a show, do anything like that, anything you can to support the artists and the artists who are keeping the tradition of country music alive. Definitely show them your support, because it's that support that allows them to keep that tradition of country music alive. So if you can do anything to support any of those artists, I definitely encourage you to do so.
Amen. Preach, brother, preach. Well, we thank you for being on, Justin, and we thank all the listeners, and y'all stay tuned for big things coming for both Pro Country and Bayou Country Music Association. And until next time, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for listening to the Bayou Country Music Association Show podcast.